Hello, hello, and welcome to the DecentraWise Podcast. My name is Pedro.
And I'm Miguel, and you just joined us in our mission to decentralize the world wisely.
Decentralize
The
the world
wisely.
wisely. It
Nice.
requires a drink, always.
Yeah,
I think this is a Starbucks cup.
yeah, it's a new one. Nice.
We don't want
Flashy.
Starbucks sponsorship in this show. We are a decentralized show. Okay? So sit back and relax because we will talk serious stuff today.
Yeah, well, we keep talking about serious. People will start to get bored because we always talk serious stuff. We have to make an episode talking about funny stuff.
Man, there are more channels in YouTube.
No,
Right.
ours is the only real channel.
We took
No,
over the entire
ours,
thing.
yeah, ours is the only serious channel because we
Okay.
are always talking serious stuff.
I didn't know that we took over the entire YouTube thing.
Yeah, well, I did
Cool.
that while you were
That's cool.
sleeping.
That's cool.
Yep.
So, since we are the only ones available, you can click the like button and subscribe because there's nothing you can click on elsewhere. So
Yeah, well, it's
just
the only
click.
buttons there. It says subscribe. Don't forget to subscribe, guys. Always like our videos. It always help us a lot. So don't forget to click.
Yeah, and no. Just click one time.
Yeah.
2 times is not good.
I thought you were
Just
distracted today.
no. Just one. And yeah, today we are talking about Bitcoin, right? And some serious stuff about Bitcoin, which is scalability.
Yeah, well,
It's
Bitcoin is like you guys should know, it's a monster, and it's heavy, it's slow, it's expensive. So yeah, let's scale that crap.
oh yeah. So, but it's the most important network in
Yeah, well,
the
it's the
planet.
best one.
It's the more secure, and it's still the fastest way to move billions of dollars uh, across borders to the opposite side of the planet. If you
And it's the
think of
most
it
distributed and the most
like that,
decentralized.
so try to send $1 billion from your country to
Oh, no.
Kenya,
No,
uh,
no, you
and you
can
will see
stop.
what I mean.
You can
I
stop.
tried.
Try to send $1 million from your country. You can stop there. You cannot
I
because
tried
it
to
will
send $1 billion
be.
from Portugal to Kenya, and they didn't allow me because I didn't have the $1 billion.
Yeah, it sucks. But with Bitcoin, you can do that,
If
even
I
if you
have a
don't have
billion
it.
dollars of Bitcoin, of course. If
No,
I
but
don't have
seriously,
$1 billion of Bitcoin, I cannot do the
yeah,
transaction.
yeah.
I
But
will
seriously,
I will pay
if
transaction fees and I will lose
yeah.
my money. Yeah.
Yeah, but seriously, if you even if you have $1 million and you try to move $1 million from your country with a traditional bank, you won't be able to do it. You have to be to go presentially to the bank and sign some stuff in order for the bank to be authorized to do that. And it will be tracked. They will need to check where the money comes from, all that stuff. It sucks. It sucks.
And
It's your money.
the worst and the even worse than that is that they can stop you from doing
Yeah,
it
yeah,
just because they feel that you shouldn't do it.
yeah. Exactly.
So
So that doesn't happen with Bitcoin.
yeah, there's no Bitcoin CEO that can prevent you from, or any government decision to prevent you from sending your money to anywhere. So
Yeah,
that is the
and
beauty
this
of
is
it, right?
yeah, and this is because Bitcoin is totally decentralized, so there is no central point of control.
Yep.
So it's
Authority.
pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's pretty cool. So, but I began saying, it comes with a few issues, right? It's because it's kind of slow if you want to make some payment. It's kind of expensive. So there are solutions around for that, right? So
The
what kind of
problem is
solutions?
for what application, right? Um,
Yeah, well, let's start with that. So, what is the main goal? Well, not the main goal, but what kind of application can we use Bitcoin for?
well,
Oh, well, not can, because we can use for even to go and buy pizza, right? So it's not that, but at this stage, it's not
every time,
it's not
every
very
time I
good to
think,
go.
every time I think that of the pizza guy, I
Yeah, the
get
pizza guy.
so sad, man.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
10,000 Bitcoin for a couple of pizzas.
yeah. Yeah,
That's
well, it is what it is, right? So, but right now it's not very very swift to go and buy pizza with Bitcoin. So, but like I was saying, there are solutions, and what kind of applications can we expect now and in the future to use Bitcoin for?
well. Right now, the Bitcoin narrative is the store of value narrative, right?
So
So
it's gold, like
yeah,
digital
I
gold.
just buy and hold, and that's it. But um, actually, I was listening to Arthur Hayes today. He is the co-founder of BitMEX, very bright guy, and I follow him for quite a while. So, and he came with an idea that is very interesting. Um, it cannot be like that forever because um, when the time comes that there are no more block rewards, in it's estimated to be around to, 2000s 2140, around that. Uh, when that time comes, Bitcoin miners will have to survive on fees. And if the Bitcoin just sits around doing nothing, the network will be unsustainable, right?
Mhm.
So uh, Bitcoin has 100 and something years to find a use case other than sitting on its ass, right? That's a cool thing,
Kind of, kind of.
a cool thing to think about because
The other way they can do that is to increase the fees, because you will have trading all the time, right? So it's not only a store of value. You will have trading anyway.
either the network gets a lot less mining power to be sustainable, and that's an option because the Bitcoin mining difficulty adjustment works both ways, right? So
Yep.
it's completely possible without disruptions. Or uh, there is some use case for Bitcoin that generates fees for the miners to keep paying for electricity to mine, to keep producing blocks. They are not miners anymore because they are not mining anything.
Yeah.
They are network validators, right?
Yeah.
And block producers. So, yeah, that should be the both scenarios, right? But I really think that Bitcoin should find a different use case, not just being a store of value, because that's already there, right? I think that we can do better. I think we can
Yeah. What do you see
bring
Bitcoin
more.
doing in the future?
Yeah. Actually, we've seen already a few other use cases like ordinals, like BRC20 tokens on Bitcoin, stuff like that. I think the inscriptions market, like ordinals and other protocols that might be created, is just scratching the surface right now. I really think that there are things that shouldn't exist in other networks. The only place for them to be secured on is Bitcoin.
Yeah, please elaborate on that.
If you think, just think of it like this. If I want to register my house in a blockchain, will I ever do it on an Ethereum or layer 2 in Ethereum?
Well, I don't know. To register your house, like you want to digitalize the ownership of the house, like an NFT, something like that.
Imagining something like that. If I'm doing that, I want to be in the best, most strong, secure network in the planet, because it's my fucking house. I don't want to mess around with it, right?
Yeah, right. But
so as well as I see it, Ethereum has a bright life being the decentralized finance thing, right? And all that. There's a bright future for Ethereum on that thing alone, like the finance, like the Wall Street of blockchains. Yeah, cool. Okay. I'm not putting my house in the hands of Wall Street guys. Period.
Why not? Why not?
Right? So
they're not selling their mothers anymore.
They will eventually. So this is the comparison that I see in my head. I really think that Bitcoin is the strongest network, and there will be a billion use cases for where you want the strongest network to be safeguarding your X stuff. I see the house as one possibility, but there are thousands more.
Yeah, well, if you want to digitalize the ownership of stuff, you can do for virtually anything, right? So, but how heavy will that be?
Another thing that popped in my head the other day is registrations of wills.
Yep. Yeah.
If I want to
makes sense.
If I want to register my will to my to leave my inheritance, um, I want to do it in the strongest network of all.
Mhm.
I will not do it on an Ethereum smart contract, or especially in an Ethereum smart contract that uh, is not decentralized enough and people lose the keys or get hacked or whatever, right?
Yeah.
That stuff is
The-
good for finance use cases where shit happens and banks go
yeah, I mean,
bankrupt and governments come and cover things up,
I
and
mean, I
it's
see
more of the
Ethereum.
same, right?
I see Ethereum as to move liquidity around, right? So if you want to
It's
have something stored,
programmable finance.
yeah. So if you want to have something stored and going in the direction that you were saying to have ownership, uh, what I see there is how heavy would that be for the Bitcoin network?
I don't care because there's the examples that I am telling you um, are easy to digest. Because, for instance, if I want to register my house, I have to pay the state a huge amount of money.
Mhm.
It will be cheaper on Bitcoin, even if Bitcoin is
Ah,
on uh, a very, very, very high demand stress, right?
yeah,
Uh,
but just stop there because governments will have a grab on that. So the only valid NFT like thing that you are going to create, a certificate that you are going to create there, the only thing that will be valid in that case will be emitted by the government, almost for sure. This is for sure, right?
that
So
depends.
it's not
I don't
like
have a
the
crystal
government.
ball.
Yeah,
Uh,
but they
it
will
can
do.
be
They
it
will
can
do.
be that governments also gain some reasonable motivation to protect people's rights. You never know. I never
Yeah.
saw such a government, but
Yes, and that's the issue. Uh,
let's see.
Governments are usually not for the people, but
If
the
that
other
if
way
that
around.
is not the case, then that is not coming to Bitcoin anyway, right? At least the house's registration. But my
Yeah.
will, I can decide on that,
Mhm.
right? I can produce a PDF document, hash it, and register the hash on chain, and my inheritance can verify that the lawyers didn't tamper with with the will
Mhm. Yeah, that is correct.
document, and I can do it today, and I don't need any approval of any government to do it,
Yeah,
right?
that is correct.
So that's a use case. Another use case that is less hopeful of a change of mindset from the governments,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, well, it can work as a verification mechanism. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And for that, I want the most secure network of all. And if that costs me $100, how much would it cost me to
Eh,
find the most
uh,
reputable lawyer firm in the
Yeah,
planet?
well, forget it. You don't need the most reputable. If you go to a lawyer to do something, you are not paying $100. You are paying
Even
substantially
a
more.
$1,000 is cheap,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
So those kinds of use cases, I think, will come to Bitcoin,
hmm
and I think layer twos of Bitcoin will be plenty.
yeah. Before jumping to layer twos, how can we expand the Bitcoin network? We have layer twos. What else do we have?
So layer twos can be at least two types. They can be the general layer 2, or they can be a side chain. There are a few use cases of those. And they can be completely separate networks, and have just gateways to the Bitcoin network. So there are three types mainly. Layer 2s usually are in the middle, right? So they use the Bitcoin network to provide an extra layer of security, like registering on the main net, block hashes or something like that, or roll-up technology like in Ethereum or whatever. Whatever protocol you use to derive or assure your network that the main chain is certifying that your network is the source of truth, or your fork is the source of truth, right? So that is usually the middle ground. The sidechain side is more like tokenless or coinless network, where the coin that is used on that network is Bitcoin, right? In the case of Bitcoin being the base layer, right? So coins move in, coins move out by some mechanism. Can be bridging, can be hash time locks, can be many other ways. And your network's liquidity is somehow connected to Bitcoin liquidity that is supplied to your network, right? And on the other side of the fence are completely separated networks that use their own incentive mechanisms, that use their own tokenomics, and they connect to Bitcoin, right? And they can connect to eventually other networks as well. Doesn't need to be only Bitcoin, right?
Yeah.
But and those are separate networks. They can be considered the layer 2 of Bitcoin if they bring some value to the network, but they can be also thought of as separate networks. But in that case, there is many separate networks. No, not many, but yeah, this area of Bitcoin is so underdeveloped that one is many already. There are some networks that are completely different networks, and they are calling themselves layer 2s of Bitcoin just because of getting some attention or something like that. Anyway, we will get there eventually in this episode.
I mean, another solution for that is sharding. How is that accomplished?
Sharding, at least on Bitcoin, is not. It's not a way, because sharding will be eventually a reality in Ethereum. So basically, you will divide the network into sub networks, and instead of having all the nodes in the network validating all the transactions in the network, they will just be chunked, and the shards will have their own
Yeah, they work
validation
independently from each
mechanism.
other, right? So
Yeah,
it's
and they
like you
will
have different networks, and then
they will
they
work
find a way
based chain.
to find a
Yeah,
consensus between them,
yeah.
right? Yeah,
So
but that doesn't work in Bitcoin.
right now, no,
Well, right
and
now no, it doesn't. Right,
I don't
there
see
is
it
no project
coming.
for that. Yeah.
I don't see it coming easily because of the nature of the network. It's
Hmm.
proof of work, and uh, I don't think it makes sense. I'm not a Bitcoin core developer, so my opinion doesn't matter. But I think that in the case of Bitcoin, it wouldn't make much sense to go
Yeah,
that route.
I'm trying to figure that because since it's proof of work, you imagining that you would share that with three different networks, you would have three times the energy expenditure for to calculate, because you would have to calculate three blocks at the same time. So with the same difficulty, because it wouldn't change the difficulty of calculating the blocks, right?
It could eventually, if it was implemented that way, but it would mean that there would be shards that would be less secure than other shards,
Hmm.
and it would be a nightmare, right?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
Beauty, the beauty of Bitcoin is a time machine,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
And it guarantees that the time is enforced digitally for the first time.
Hmm.
So if you divide that, um, you will loosen that property, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
There will
Yeah,
be
you will.
similar times between
Yes.
shards.
Yeah, but not equal, but similar.
And
Yeah, you could take
I don't like
advantage
the idea,
of that. Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Makes sense. So layer twos.
yeah. So in the case of Ethereum, it's much different because there is no time machine in Ethereum. People that think that blockchains are all equal, forget it,
No.
right?
No,
Bitcoin is
all
unique,
blockchains. Yeah.
uh, and
Yeah, there are very
there are
other
similar blockchains that
are more similar than comparing to each other than all of them comparing to Bitcoin.
if you think Bitcoin, for instance, doesn't have problems with MEV bullshit,
Yeah.
right? Have you thought why is that? You will. Everyone will say there is no DeFi in Bitcoin, so there is no. No, it's not. It's not just that. It's that uh, in Bitcoin there is no incentive to reorder transactions.
Yeah.
Period. And that's why it is a time machine, because it doesn't need an ounce, right? Like
Yeah.
Ethereum.
It's crazy
Ethereum,
how they implemented things in a way that doesn't create problems that only arise in the future. It's crazy.
it's the UTXO mechanism.
Hmm.
The UTXO mechanism solves that problem of reordering transactions uh, that you don't have in an account-based blockchain like Ethereum. You don't have that problem solved. So you need to have each transaction with a sequential number which is called the nonce
Yep.
in Ethereum, to be aware that you will not sign and double spend, because the blockchain will be able to know that this transaction happened before that one. But that doesn't take into account the other accounts. It's just your account, right?
Yeah.
And that's why MEV is a reality today with DeFi, because there is an incentive to reorder transactions between accounts, which is possible. And it's possible because Ethereum is not a time machine.
Right. Yeah, I get it.
So Bitcoin has that property of being a time machine, and that is very valuable. And I think that is the most interesting property of Bitcoin among all the others. Is exactly that property of being able to certify that certain actions occurred in certain times.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. Makes a lot of sense.
So, and when we talk about scalability in Bitcoin or any other network, usually something that comes to mind is the scalability trilemma.
It's the first thing that comes to mind because
Right?
it's applicable to most systems.
So, whenever we talk about scalability, we have to talk about this. And there is a trilemma that is impossible to solve, or at least not
at least for now.
at the state of the art. So, which is a network can be in the middle of a triangle where the vertices are security, decentralization, and scalability, or the ability to scale to more transactions, right? And you can only be next to two of those at the same time, right? To be closer to two of those,
next, but you can push. You can push
to be far away
to two of
the other point
of those
right?
vertices. Yeah.
So Bitcoin clearly is in the middle of security and decentralization, right? So it's as secure as you can get and as decentralized as you can get, but it's slow.
Yeah, like we were saying, it's slow and expensive, and that's
you have to
a problem for scalability. Yeah,
you have to live with that, right? It's but if you compare to traditional markets, it's very fast, because from time to time I use the financial system to receive payments. Not that I want to, but people just have to pay me in fiat from time to time.
Yeah.
And
you have to pay in fiat from time to time.
It still takes 2 working days
to
receive my money. And now that we just had Easter, so there were 3 holidays in between. So the money is not in my bank account yet. It's not that it worries me, but as a comparison with Bitcoin, 1 hour for 6 confirmation times, for 6 confirmation blocks, is much faster than the traditional market.
Of course.
The traditional finance. So
we have a little question before we move on. We have a question from Victor saying,
"Hey, Victor,
Bitcoin is we always welcome Victor. And the question is, Bitcoin is a time machine and Ethereum is not, because can you explain again, please?"
Because in Ethereum there is an incentive to reorder transactions, and in Bitcoin there is not.
Yeah, but why
Basically,
are you saying that Bitcoin is a time machine? What does it make to be a time machine and not Ethereum?
because Bitcoin blocks happen in a regular time, and the only thing that makes your transaction be ordered in time is the amount of fees that you pay. So it's something that is more or less um, contained in Ethereum, and a transaction in Bitcoin in your wallet doesn't have a precedence. So in Bitcoin, when you create a transaction on your wallet, you have to spend UTXOs. And if the UTXOs are able to spend with your key, they are absolutely verified at that moment that you didn't spend them before. Right?
Mhm.
So that eliminates the need for you to have transactions that have a sorting number, like an ounce. Right?
Yep.
And because of that, Bitcoin works like a time machine that timestamps digital stuff.
Yeah, so I mean the difference is that because each transaction will be timestamped, right? But in Ethereum, that is not the case.
It
The
is
thing is,
timestamped as well, but miners are incentivized to reorder transactions to their own benefit. So that is the problem in Ethereum with the order of events, is that you can issue a transaction and that transaction is not absolutely guaranteed to occur before being included in the block, right? And it's the same thing with Bitcoin, but with Bitcoin, it will eventually get in a block, and by the time that happens, that transaction is absolutely guaranteed to be valid,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah. So the difference is,
But that is not true in
yeah,
Ethereum.
yeah,
By the time it gets included in the block, the transaction can be invalidated because some other transaction occurred beforehand that is not supposed to, or it was supposed to, and you were just cheating, right?
yeah. So you were talking about those incentives, and the thing is that you can in Ethereum you can pick the transaction block, and you can just filter out or reorder it in order to make the most money out of it, right?
Yeah.
And this doesn't happen in Bitcoin.
We did an episode on MEV. If you want
Yep.
to go back and check that out, but yeah, that is the idea, and another thing that is easily understandable is that for that reason, um, Ethereum needs an ounce for the transactions of your wallet, and Bitcoin doesn't,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yep.
So check that out as well, because yeah, that makes it completely different beasts. Bitcoin and Ethereum, all Bitcoin-based chains that use UTXOs, and account-based chains like Ethereum and many others that use
Yep.
accounts, right?
Yep. So we are talking about the trilemma. So, like we were saying, you can only choose two of the three scalability points. from the tree limit, so you can just pick the place where you want to be in between those 3 points. And as you try to increase security, decentralization, or scalability, you will reduce in one of those other points. So let's talk a little bit about layer twos.
Yeah, let's go.
What layer twos do we have currently for Bitcoin?
Well, at least the known or more well-known are Lightning Network, Liquid Network, which is marginal because it didn't get any momentum, but it seems to be somehow moving a little bit today. Some new one, which is Fedimint. There is Tax, which is calling itself a layer 2 of Bitcoin. It was a separate network, but they are moving in that direction. That is Rootstock as well, which is a side chain, a Bitcoin side chain that is compatible with EVM smart contracts. And these are the main layer 2s slash side chains slash scaling networks for Bitcoin.
Yeah, okay, let's talk a little bit. Let's start with the Lightning Network. What does that do? What is it for?
So, Lightning Network calls itself like a Bitcoin payment infrastructure. So, it should be the idea for its creation was to be able to make payments using Bitcoin, payments on day-to-day transactions,
like going to the supermarket and
like going to the
store,
coffee shop,
and pay for coffee. Yeah.
So
pay for pizza.
And it's actually possible with Lightning today, or many years before today. Lightning Network has near zero fees. So if you don't have to use Lightning routing, if you have a direct channel, there is zero fees involved. Near instant settlement. So the moment that you sign a transaction in Lightning Network, that transaction is the settlement, right? And we can go further on that if people have doubts about it. And it's an off-chain payment network that is created of channels. So people can open channels between each other, and over those channels, multiple payments can go through without a single transaction on chain. So,
is there a time limit for those channels to be open?
There can be, but there can be no limit of time.
Okay, I'm thinking this, imagining an employee-employer relationship, that they can open a channel and there can be transactions between them for forever, right? For as long as the contract maintains. So in that case, you wouldn't need to close the channel. You can create the channel and then just make a bunch of transactions however you want.
Yes and no. Because
please explain.
It's not the way it works. Let's think about that. Let's use that example. It's a nice one. So let's think that you are my employer, I am your employee. We open a channel between each other, and every month you pay me through that channel.
Mhm.
What can I do with that money you send me?
Well, you cannot do anything because the money is in the channel, right?
I can just pay you,
Yeah.
right? Or if you are uh, an employer that has also Anne as my colleague, I can pay her, or I can
Mhm.
pay Charles, which is also your employer, your employee. Um, and maybe you have an accountant firm, and if I want to do my taxes with them, I can pay them because they also have a channel with you. But this is kind of restrictive, right? Maybe
Yeah,
you have
yeah.
a
Well,
channel with your bank, and your bank has a channel with all the banks,
mhm.
and then all the banks have a channel with all their customers, and then I can pay everybody.
Mhm.
But that if that single connection from you to your bank is not doesn't exist, we are restricted among the peers of your network as
That's when
a
routing
hub.
comes in place.
Yes, if I will be using you as a router,
Yeah,
you will be able to charge me a fee,
I
and
see.
any hop that I go through the
So every
network,
node, every node will be able to charge a fee.
yes, but it's a small fee. It's usually one satoshi or something like that.
Hmm.
So it's a very small fee, and there are also nodes that don't charge fees. So
Hmm.
it's possible too.
Okay, there is this thing that you said that it also increases privacy. So it's one of the good things of Lightning. How does it increase privacy?
Yeah, the way routing is designed is similar to onion routing. So the transaction that I sign is encapsulated in other transactions that are signed through the network, so that only when it reaches the destination, it is more or less usable, right? So and since the payment channels are all individualized, uh, what I sign on my end will be valid on our channel, but then you will have to sign another transaction on the other channel, and the other channel had to sign another transaction on the other channel, so that the money eventually reaches the destination, right? And that's not this exactly the same as onion routing of Tor, but the outcome is more or less the
Yeah,
same.
pretty similar. Yeah.
Only the each channel knows about the movement inside that channel and not outside. So
Does it work in a P2P way?
yes.
Okay. Hmm.
So, but the problem that I see in Lightning is that it requires opening and closing channels.
Yeah,
Um,
the closing of the channel kind of marks the execution of all the transactions that happen in between, right?
yeah,
Hmm.
and as I said,
It
all the
makes it
transactions
official.
in between are closing transactions, right?
Yeah,
They are just not placed on chain. So
yeah.
a transaction in our channel will mean that I will accept that if you want, you can close the channel with a certain amount of money and another certain amount of money on my side.
Hmm.
And the same with you. When you send a payment to me, you will send a transaction that allows me to close the channel with a different
Yeah.
pair of numbers, right?
And those amounts are always symmetrical.
It has to be.
Yeah.
See, if
So it's like
the channel has a
half.
certain balance,
Yeah. Yeah, and
so
it has to be like half.
no. It has to be greater than zero, and the sum of two, the greater or equal to zero, and the sum of the two equal to the channel balance. Then that's it.
Yeah. Hmm.
So
Okay.
that is the requisites, and that's if I accept to give you the channel balance and be left with zero, it's on me. So that represents that I paid you all the balance in the channel that was on my side,
Yeah.
right?
Well, it's not all good stuff in the Lightning network, right? There's
Well,
some not so good stuff there.
I think the most important not so good thing of Lightning is that it's very hard to maintain a node. And by that, I don't mean it's possible for us technical guys um, to run nodes. Of course, we are technical guys, but mass adoption is not made by technical guys, right? And if we think about Lightning Network as a scalability network for users, general users, I think it failed because of that.
So
But but
if we are thinking about Lightning Network to be an everyday transaction system, that is not the case, right?
if I would be able to run a Lightning Network node on my phone and use my phone to pay for shit, that would be a success for Lightning, but it's not possible.
Yeah.
Because
Well, at
the
least for
Lightning
now.
Network needs to be connected all the time.
Mhm.
And that cuts out 75% of people of this planet because they don't have always connected computers,
Yeah.
right? And then the node needs to be maintained, and the maintenance of the node is quite tricky because managing channel liquidity is not easy, because there is inbound liquidity and outbound liquidity to be managed. If a channel has only outbound liquidity and zero inbound liquidity, then it can be used just one way, right? It doesn't work both ways. So you have to manage that liquidity, and you will have to perhaps purchase liquidity on the other end from a
Yeah.
liquidity market.
It kind of works
Uh,
like a liquidity pool, right?
yeah, and also channel management. If you run just one channel, it's easy. But if you run multiple channels, then it becomes a nightmare because you have to be checking all the channels all the time if they were not force closed by the other end, uh, to prevent bad actors, right? And um, that is a very serious risk of um, losing money, right? And
Yeah.
cherry on top is that it's a requirement since the channel or all the channels are signing transactions whenever I do a payment. The node is required to have Bitcoin keys online, which is not very good, right?
Yeah.
So Lightning Network nodes are honeypots. The bigger they are, the bigger they
Yeah.
become
And imagining that you would have
interesting.
to create a channel for tendentially for each store that you would go, it would be a nightmare, right? To manage all those channels.
It's impossible. So what I imagine, I like Lightning Network. Don't get me wrong. Okay, I think it's cool the way it's designed, and since it's a protocol that is built by several entities, it's not there that there is just one node to run. There are plenty of implementations of Lightning Network. Um, because of the privacy advantages on a payment infrastructure that is very similar to the privacy that we have today with money, right?
Mhm.
Uh, I really like Lightning Network. I think there is a bright future on that. It's not just for the regular user. So what do I think about is uh, I think that eventually Lightning Network will be the network between financial institutions.
Yeah, it kind of makes sense.
They have the resources to make channel management, make
Yeah.
liquidity management. They already do it, right? They will
Mhm.
just do it digitally on Bitcoin. And I really think that there is a potential there to reduce costs, right, on transactions between financial institutions, and make it instant to do transfers between banks all over the world. That would be
Mhm.
cool, right? And since the tendency is that financial institutions become more crypto with time, hopefully, so that I can be paid on time and not wait for my payment for like 7 days or something
Yeah.
because it was Easter.
Yeah.
Um, oh, this is so. I just say this because I really find it so funny uh, that when people say that Bitcoin is slow, uh, guys, you didn't send a transfer to another country.
Yeah. Well, it's a pain. Yeah. Yeah,
So
it is a pain.
Lightning Network as a system to be connecting financial institutions.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah, I
Perfect.
think it's the best use case for that project. Yeah.
Not just for me or for the regular
Yeah.
user, uh, because it's a pain to run a node. It's a pain to control all those variables. And if I would run a node, I would run a node to get rewards by I run Bitcoin nodes, right? I don't run Lightning Network nodes because there is no network yet. Uh, Eventually, when there is a big network, I will run a node, but I will run a node to get rewards from routing, not for my own use.
Yeah.
You see, that's it, and that's why financial institutions will eventually uh, run Lightning networks because Lightning Network nodes because they have the real incentive, right? They move a lot of
Hmm.
money around. I don't
Yeah.
do that much payments that incentivize me to run a node
Yeah.
because the hassle of running it doesn't
Yeah.
out
It's much bigger. Yeah.
doesn't compensate me of the value that I take from it, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And this
Right.
is a controversial thing The Bitcoiner guys and the Lightning Network guys will roast me eventually, but that's life, guys.
Yeah.
I don't do shit just because. I have plenty of shit to do. I
Yeah.
don't need more, right?
Yeah. Well, we have pretty good information about Lightning Network. We are going for the next one, which is Liquid Network. But before that, guys, don't forget to like and subscribe. It helps us a lot in the YouTube engine. So yeah, don't forget that. And yeah, let's jump to.
We have one question for the
Uh,
Diop.
uh,
Uh,
yeah, but
he is
let's save
asking
that.
about Rune's protocol, and I just wanted to ask him: are you talking about Torchain or something else? Because I can talk about a little bit about Torchain at the end of the the podcast,
Yeah.
if that's the case.
Yeah.
But just clarify that, please. So,
Yeah.
Liquid
Liquid
Network.
Network.
Yeah, let's go.
So, what the hell is that?
Liquid Network is a layer 2 network that enables transactions of Bitcoin with low fees, assures cryptographically a one-to-one peg to Bitcoin on the mainnet. So there is no way to pretend that there is more liquidity, more Bitcoin liquidity in the network than it should. And you can issue assets on Liquid, like other tokens. It's one of the selling points. You have confidential transactions as well, so you can also have an extra layer of privacy, as in Lightning, and it has a faster settlement of 1 minute blocks. So it's a different chain. It's not an an isolated network producing transactions on Bitcoin network as Lightning. So it's a different chain, and it has a connection, a bridging mechanism to Bitcoin layer 1 to put Bitcoin inside and move it out.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why it's a layer 2. And well, the use of Liquid network is minuscule. I don't know why. I would expect that eventually people would do more on Liquid, but the community just doesn't care about it. And maybe the use case is not enough. It's a question. It's not something that I define as truth, but I don't know. What I see here is that its cons, or it's not so good aspects maybe outpace the good aspects of this protocol, because it's built by a single entity. It's one not so good thing. It's built by Blockstream. Of course, Blockstream is the largest contributor in Bitcoin Core. and blah blah blah, all those things, right? But
Yeah.
it's a single entity. Uh, it is federated, so it's not community run, right?
Hmm.
Uh, they say there are a bunch of entities from exchanges to whatever that run the nodes of the federation and blah blah
Yeah.
blah, but zero
Is it public?
decentralization,
Is
right?
it public?
Trust trustlessness of zero,
Yeah.
right? Uh, of course, it's better than a completely centralized system, but how better? At least in the centralized system, there is one to blame. Uh,
Yeah,
if you have
that's why I
a
was
federation
asking
of exchanges, who
if
will
it's
you
public,
blame?
who
Right?
owns it, right? Who is it public?
No.
Yeah.
So it's it's a network that has nodes run by chosen. I don't know the name that they use for that. It's not that I use Liquid at all. I just investigated it a little bit to be able to talk about it. Uh, so I'm not an expert in Liquid at all. If I am wrong, please share with me. I want to learn more.
Yeah.
But from my understanding, that's what I got. It seems too centralized, and if it would give enough value with that level of centralization, it would probably take off. But I see um, points against out sizing the points in favor in this network, right?
Hmm.
So
Yeah. Let's go for.
yeah,
Uh,
uh,
I think we're
if
done
you
with.
find more interesting stuff going on Liquids,
Yeah.
share with us in our social media. We are always uh, willing
And if you
to
are curious
learn
to
more.
explore a little bit more, we can spend some time investigating that a bit better.
Yeah, and if you run a kick-ass project on Liquid and to prove us totally wrong, we will make a dedicated podcast to
Yeah.
your project.
Yeah.
Uh, I doubt that is the case. That's why I'm saying this. But anyway, I will fulfill my promise if you have a kick-ass project. I really
Yeah.
doubt because Liquid has been under the radar for so long that yeah, it shouldn't be. There shouldn't be very much kick-ass projects on there, but I might be wrong. So prove me wrong. Uh, moving
Okay,
on.
let's go to Fedimint. What can you tell us about Fedimint?
Fedimint is quite recent. Uh, they put together a few technologies, uh, and they created something that is interesting, but risky, in my perspective, in my humble
How,
opinion. Um, although
why?
I think it has some cool stuff going for it. Um, so the main idea is that we already trust uh, our money to many communities or many entities, right? Uh, we can consider like our local community in our neighborhood. We could create a Fedimint for that community, and some people in the community would be elected to be the guardians of that community by us all. Like in our, if you live in an apartment building, you will probably have, I don't know in English the name of that.
What do you want to say?
The management of the building, common parts of the
it's
building.
the
So that is
yeah,
an
it's the
entity
manager, right? Yeah.
that is an entity that actually runs a budget to pay for stuff in the building, right? Pay for
Mhm.
electricity, to elevators and stairs and all that, to pay the cleaning, to pay garbage collecting, all that, all those things, right? So
Mhm.
in North countries for the heating and all that. So that is a budget that is run by those uh, guardians of that public good, which is
Mhm.
not general public, but for that group of people that live in that building, right? So the idea of the Fedimint is to make those communities, empower those communities to become manageable on chain. Or on, it's not
Mhm.
on chain, it's on a kind of verifiable way, because they don't use a chain. It's they use something which is called eCash. Uh, they are like IOU papers, provable uh, papers that are minted and are minted in that community, and people can exchange between themselves. Right?
Let me ask you this. You are talking about this community organization, but you can use this for a company, right? You can use it for any social structure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Basically, you if you can elect a group of people to be the guardians and to manage a multi-sig,
Mhm.
you can build a Fedimint.
Okay.
So each community can start their own Fedimint, and the Fedimint is kind of built on Lightning Network rails. So you can have community participants acting as gateways, and um, those gateways will be secured by the guardians, right? And those gateways will have uh, the Bitcoin secured on the Bitcoin blockchain in a multisig, and they will issue eCash IOU nodes in to the network. They mint those nodes for the
Mhm.
community, right?
So those
And
IOUs work like an NFT. Is it the same? Do they have the same behavior, or is
those
something
are
totally?
cryptographic proofs of existence of Bitcoin in a gateway.
Mhm. Okay.
It's different. It's
Yeah,
not on
it's much
chain.
simpler. Yeah.
I can send it to you, and you can go to the gateway and make it
Mhm.
exchange that for Bitcoin on the Bitcoin network. That's it. So
Okay.
it's called eCash, and it's used by Fedimint, by Cashew, by many other protocols. So, and it's something that has ages. It's not new stuff, right?
Yeah.
So The beauty of Fedimint, in my idea, is that is kind of simple, kind of decentralized, right? Uh, I agree with them that that idea that people already are organized themselves in communities, and people already trust trustees, pun intended, um, to manage their multiple stuff, right? So this can be an interesting use case
Yeah,
for
it's nice.
cryptography at service of communities.
Hmm. Yeah, I
I
do agree.
just don't see it as a solution for Bitcoin scalability problem. Uh,
Yeah.
it can be,
Well, it's another use case.
yes, I'm okay with that. Uh, I like the design. I like the idea behind it. Um, but I think that the usability of it will be very limited to organizations, to small communities, and um, it really depends on the evolution of Lightning Network as a payment infrastructure globally,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
Uh, and that is the most significant um, point of friction that I see in this protocol, because Lightning has to be uh, a network that is widely uh, adopted for this to be easier to implement. And I do think that every gateway has to run their own Lightning Network nodes. And if that's the case, that is a problem for adoption,
Mm.
because
Yeah.
regular people running Lightning networks
Yeah.
is not an easy
Regular
thing.
people don't know what to know this.
And uh, also, another thing that really didn't spark my curiosity further is the limited routing capabilities between Fedimints. Uh, because um, mints on one Fedimint are different than mints on the other Fedimint, right?
Not exchangeable?
No.
Oh.
Uh, because they are not signed by the same parties. They are not able to be exchanged on the other gateways, right? So the way they do that is actually the communication between Fedimints require going through the gateway into the Lightning network and on the other gateway to on the other side. And it's a bit clunky. I don't know. Prove me wrong again. If someone from Fedimint is willing to share more information with us, uh, go ahead. I am always willing to learn more, and I am really happy to be proven wrong all the
Yeah,
time.
shout out to the Fedimint guys. So if you guys are listening,
Um,
just come to us and yeah,
I like the
tell
idea.
us more about this amazing project.
I like the idea, but I also find that there are several not so good points in it. Um, Fedimint also has the collaboration of Blockstream. I don't have anything against Blockstream. I have many things to thank Blockstream. Don't get me wrong. They've done a great job in Bitcoin. But yeah, it seems that all the projects that we are talking about are Blockstream projects, or at least pet projects.
Well,
So
those guys invest.
yeah,
So
but there is a question of decentralization and
yeah, yeah, there
community
is,
involvement.
but
That's
and it's not only on these projects, right?
yeah,
There is this concern on all blockchains, uh, on on um, on all ecosystems. We need to make an episode about that, right?
yeah,
Because this is really concerning, um, regarding centralization of things. So yeah, we need to make an episode on this. Okay, so for Fedimint, do you have anything to add?
yeah. The idea is great. I just don't see the regular community becoming a federated
Yeah.
mint
Mhm.
easily, at least. Maybe they find their own sweet spot. Uh, as I said, Lightning Network for me it's the institutions, the financial institutions. Uh, if they will eventually see that, and that will probably become a thing. I already implemented Lightning Network in exchanges, so exchanges are going in that direction. Eventually, banks will do it as well, and eventually, Lightning Network will be the network of financial institutions.
Mhm.
If it goes beyond that, I don't know. I don't think so. But that's a very good use case, right?
Yeah.
And maybe Fedimints will find their own sweet spot. I don't know. I just don't see it right away. And although I like the idea, which I do, and I like the openness of everyone being able to create one, I see too many restrictions or too many points that are required in order for that to become mass adopted. And that's my single doubt about Fedimint.
Hmm. Yeah. Well, it's pretty nice information there.
Yeah. Go check them out. Fedimint.org. It's they have cool documentation. They are creating a lot of videos and really digestible information. So go ahead,
Yeah.
start one if you want.
Yeah, try it out.
I'm not against at all. Uh, I think we all can do whatever the shit we fucking care of. So
Right.
in a decentralized way, that's the way to do, right?
Yeah, do decentralized shit. That's our
Yeah.
that's what we like to say. Okay, so let's go to the next one. Let's talk a little bit about stacks. So, what we have on stacks?
Well, stacks. I think it was called Block Stack before. It started a while ago. I think in 2017 or 16 or whatever. I don't know. Around that time, and they are a blockchain, uh, a completely different blockchain from Bitcoin. They implemented something that I find cool. They have a different consensus algorithm, which they called POX, proof of transaction. Don't ask me why X, because transaction is a T. But anyway,
Yeah, well, it's
um,
TRX, right?
they they maybe lost a letter there. I don't know. Maybe it would be POTX. I don't
Yeah,
know.
But it would be bigger, right?
So proof of transaction is of proof of transfer. I think it's proof of transfer. I don't know, something like that.
Yeah.
Transfer is even harder to understand because that it contains
Yeah,
no
no,
S.
it's not it's transaction for sure.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, but it doesn't have an X.
Check on stacks.co.
Yeah, I'm going to
It's
check
their
it.
website.
Yeah, I'm
I think
checking
it's
that.
proof of transfer. I'm not sure, but it's something very weird. Anyway, they provide smart contracts on their chain. They say they provide smart contracts on Bitcoin, but that's on their chain. No, it's not on Bitcoin.
Yeah, it's not Bitcoin because Bitcoin
Right.
doesn't support smart contracts.
So
this one is like let's create a layer 2 that implements smart contracts, and
yeah,
then we can communicate somehow with Bitcoin.
yes, exactly. So proof of transfer is
Yeah, it's
a cool
actually proof
thing.
of transfer
Uh,
and not transaction.
so the idea behind that is that Bitcoin energy consumption is the work that is done to protect Bitcoin, right? So Bitcoin is created with that energy, and they use that energy to protect their own chain by making their own block producers, proving that they sent a transfer on Bitcoin chain to pay the stackers of the network. And the competition is made about who pays more. And the one that pays more, every Bitcoin block, is able to build the block and receive the block rewards. So this is interesting. They are using an external value to secure their own network. So their own validators or the block producers, whatever they are called, they spend some real world value or external world value in order to be able to produce blocks and get rewarded with the block rewards. It makes sense, right? At least the last I checked, there was not much competition around producing stacks blocks.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason why was that Bitcoin miners got in the business of censoring transactions, of paying block producers, trying to compete between each other, and they will just receive block rewards with 1 Satoshi payments because they, in the block that they produced, they would censor all the transactions from the other guys and win the block.
Yeah.
And that was sad for me to discover. Actually, they were trying to solve that. I don't know if they already did or not. So maybe that is not an issue right now, but I'm not sure.
I don't know. They have
Because
it here. Like the consensus mechanism is now uh, the proof of transfer, which is actually transfer and not transaction, like
Mhm.
I was expecting, uh, is an extension of proof of burn mechanism.
Yeah,
So do you know how the proof of burn works?
yeah. The proof of burn was I think Stacks One was doing that. It was burning the Bitcoin, but
Mhm.
then uh, they eventually had no use case for their token, right?
Mhm.
Um, so the Stacks token, uh, in order to get to be of any value, it would have to generate some kind of uh, income for people who stack stacks, right? So in this consensus, they removed the burning and they moved it to block incentives being sent, or block payments, block transfers being sent to as yield to stackers of stacks. So if you have
Mhm.
stacks, you can stack it on the network, and you will have rewards in Bitcoin.
Nice, nice.
Um,
How adopted is this uh, stacks?
well, I'm
Because
not sure.
if it implements smart contracts for Bitcoin, I would figure that this would be like crazy, and people would go there and implement stuff on
Yeah,
stacks.
that would be plausible, but at least a while ago, when I tried to connect to the community, I figured out that the community is quite closed. Um, I did get replies from many people that I tried to contact, and documentation is quite scarce. Uh, not many tools available. Um, the smart contracts capability use a different language, which is uh, what's the name of it? Clarity. It's a different language, Lisp based, with lots of parentheses all the
Oh
time.
crap! Lisp.
um, the only interoperability with Bitcoin was like validation of transaction hashes or Bitcoin block hashes. Very basic stuff. Um, they say that they provide, I don't know the name of that, but like mini blocks or micro blocks or whatever they call it.
Mhm.
I never said that. I never saw that working anywhere. I don't know if that's working or not. I wasn't able to verify that on any block explorer or any other place. So um, I wasn't able to find any improvements in blockchain in Bitcoin transaction throughput, since they are one to one 10-minute blocks. Um, just transaction fee is a little bit cheaper, of course, but paid in stacks,
Mhm.
which I have to have stacks to send Bitcoin around.
Yeah.
I checked their one of their use cases, which is BNS. It's the Bitcoin name system, as they call it. I saw a very closed system, not used anywhere besides the Stacks wallets, which is Hyro Wallet. I think they changed the name. I don't follow the project that close anymore because of all this stuff. So
to start with, it's quite difficult to start any kind of project here, right?
they have some tools, but the tools are not what you used to. I'm not an advocate of EVM blockchains,
Yeah, but at
but
least you have documentation,
but
you
that
have communities, and
yeah, but
you
at
have
least
support,
you
right?
know something in advance when you go to a network that supports EVM tools. They don't. You have to install a different wallet in a browser. You have to send funds to it. You have to buy stacks somewhere, send stacks so somewhere so that you can transact. Um, it's difficult to fund um, testnet wallets. At least I had a lot of troubles finding faucets that actually send uh, anything. Well, I don't want to be very mean to this network. I think all the use cases are valid use cases, even if people that just don't care about them. Um, Me as a developer, I found it very hard to become part of that community and to help out.
Yeah, Stacks guys, if you're listening to us, just tell us where the entry point is, or if somebody developed on Stacks, just let us know if there
Yeah,
is an easy way to dive into Stacks. So yeah, so it seems it's not easy, right?
yeah. It again, the value that it brings to the table, the smart contracts. Um, I don't think there is much there to really be able to see stacks as scalability solution for Bitcoin, because it's
Mhm.
not. It's bringing a little bit of programmatic ability, but I don't think it's a killer app
Yeah,
for Bitcoin at
yeah, it
all.
doesn't look
And
like one.
and with such a small community and such a closed community, I don't see that growing fast. And all the problems that I found, and I did quite a bit in Stacks. It's not like the other protocols that I just scratched the surface. Yeah, it at least to me it disappointed a bit.
Yeah,
Uh, Maybe it will get better in the future. Who knows?
yeah. Let's hope for that.
Yeah.
Let's hope for that. Okay, let's go to the last one. Guys, in the meantime, don't forget to like and subscribe. Also, share our videos if you like those. It helps us a lot.
If
Come on, I have to say if. YouTube will
no,
block us if we don't. If
of
we
of
try to
course
force
people
people.
like our videos. Come on.
Yeah, but it will look to YouTube like we are forcing people to do so, and we will get demonetized.
We are demonetized already. So
Okay, last one, Rootstock. What can we say about Rootstock? What is it? What does it do?
Rootstock is a sidechain. It's a sidechain like Liquid, right? It's not a separate blockchain with its own coin. It uses Bitcoin as the base layer coin. So transactions are paid in Bitcoin, right? It is EVM compatible, so all the tools are available that people are used to use on EVM. It brings smart contracts to a side chain of Bitcoin, where Bitcoin can go in and get out, and you can do things with Bitcoin inside. So I see it much more like a truly smart contract platform for Bitcoin than anything else,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Um,
Comparing to stacks, it seems more a more effective approach, right?
and if we talk about tokenomics and all that, there was no pre-mine. There's Bitcoin as the base layer token. There is more decentralization because it's merge mines. So it has to be mined with Bitcoin. So only Bitcoin miners can mine uh, Rootstock. And the only downsides is a little bit of complexity because of this mechanism of going in and getting out. And limited adoption still. But they are also very early at their very early stages.
Yeah, I was going to ask
So
that. It's quite new, right?
it's I don't know the exact project bootstrap, but as far as I know, it's not very old. So there is still a lot of ways to go to get more adoption, right? And since all the tools work just fine, like wallets and all those for EVM compatible chains, yeah, why not giving it a try if you want to build smart
Yeah,
contracts on
at least it's
Bitcoin?
EVM, right? It's you have a lot of information
Yeah.
to develop EVM smart contracts.
So the big plus of Rootstock, and that's why we left it to the end, is that it actually is a Bitcoin true sidechain, right? With capabilities that might be good enough to justify the little bit complexity extra to your workflow, right?
Yeah.
So instead of using a Bitcoin wallet, you will have to use MetaMask on your browser and use your Bitcoin on DeFi without wrapping it as you have to do in Ethereum.
Yeah.
So it seems to be a nice use case for it, right? And no bridging involved as well. So another point in favor. So yeah, I really think that Rootstock is a nice improvement to the Bitcoin network. Lightning as well. And one question: what's missing in the Bitcoin space? Because when I was preparing this episode, I thought in the beginning, well, when I start digging into Bitcoin layer twos and side chains and whatever, I will find so many things that I don't know already. And
Yeah.
I was wrong. I think we need to create more shit like this, right?
Yeah,
Uh,
when you do that, you start popping ideas, and even if it's not the best designed idea, another idea will pop up that will solve the problem. And if you have a really diverse set of ideas, the best ones will come up eventually,
yeah,
right?
but I really think that there is a lot of space to build on Bitcoin. And the key takeaway from me by doing this exercise of preparing this episode was how fucking early are we in
Yeah.
this industry? Because there's not much. I might miss some of these infrastructures. Like I don't know. The Diop didn't reply about the runes protocol that he was asking about.
Yeah,
But if
we can let's just finish this and then we jump to the questions because we also have
yeah,
another question there.
so
So
uh, I really think that we need to build more on Bitcoin. Uh, there's many much space to improve, and I see some really interesting projects coming about, like Noster in decentralized social media space, that they are connecting to Bitcoin and Lightning Network to uh, create uh, zaps for content, like micropayments for content. I think that's cool. I have other concerns about that, but that's a good episode theme for later. Um, but I really think that this space needs more building. We need more tokenomics in Bitcoin. We need more stuff to experiment with, to create more community around Bitcoin monetary instrument, which is the best we know of,
yeah,
right? So
yeah,
let's do that. Let's build shit on Bitcoin. Um, at least we will.
yeah,
Uh, and I hope that you too build more, create more things, interesting things that we can talk about and promote and generate adoption to. Because we all win. When there is one more Bitcoiner, we all win.
yeah. The biggest the ecosystem, the better it becomes for sure.
Yeah.
Uh, okay, so we are wrapping up, guys. And before we jump to the questions. Do you have anything else you want to add on?
No, I just end with this question.
Yeah. Okay.
Uh,
So yeah, go ahead.
yeah, that's let's find out what's missing here, and connect the dots and build.
Yeah.
Let's go for it.
Yeah, guys, just put your hands on it, and if you have any ideas, start playing with it. There are a lot of space to explore here.
Yeah,
Okay,
join our
so
Telegram, share your ideas. We will be sharing ours soon, and yeah, let's build on Bitcoin
yeah, exactly.
together.
Okay, so let's jump to the questions, guys. Don't forget to like and subscribe and share our videos. It helps us a lot with the YouTube algorithm. And we have a question from Fode Diop. And what do you guys think about the upcoming Runes protocol? So the Runes protocol is a
I'm not sure
UTXO.
about that question, but if by Runes protocol he was talking about Thorchain,
I don't think so. The Runes protocol is it's a new token. It's a new protocol that gives it's based on UTXO. So first of all, let's define, because we have another question from Raghavendra. Sorry, guys, to butcher your names. So he's asking, what the hell is UTXO? So let's start with that before going to the Runes protocol, because the Runes protocol is a new project with the token based on UTXO.
UTXO mechanism is one of the greatest innovations of Bitcoin, which is UTXO means unspent transaction, TX, output. Oh. So
the X here is for transaction and not for transfer.
It's TX. TX for transaction.
Right.
UTXO. Yeah. Unspent transaction output. So what the mechanism of that is like, I will use the same ideology that I used to explain what the UTXO means to my wife. It's not a very technical one. I can give you the technical one, but I think it's more appropriate to go simple on this. Imagine an UTXO as, or your Bitcoin wallet is a collection of those little pigs that you put coins inside. You see?
Yeah.
So your wallet collects those little pigs. And the amount of money that you have in your wallet is the sum of all the money that is on those little pigs. Which those little pigs are UTXOs. So someone sent you a little pig with money inside. That's it. That's a transaction output, right? And whenever you want to send a transaction, you have to use one or more little pigs as an input to your transaction, right? And whenever you use a little pig, you have to use all the money inside of that little pig. So if that little pig has 1 Bitcoin and you want to send half a Bitcoin to Miguel, if you send to Miguel, you have to send to me as well. That's the first thing. But anyway, if you want to send half a Bitcoin to Miguel and you have 1 little pig, 1 UTXO on your wallet with 1 Bitcoin, that means that you have to spend 1 Bitcoin in that transaction, right? So that you will break that UTXO, that little pig that has 1 Bitcoin inside, will send half a Bitcoin to Miguel and the rest to your wallet again, to another little pig that will stay in your wallet, another UTXO that will stay in your wallet with the remaining of that transaction, right?
Yeah.
So that's a UTXO. That's the mechanism of Bitcoin. What does that guarantee? It makes it impossible to double spend. Since every time you have to spend the UTXO, you have to spend it completely, right? Bitcoin does just have to collect unspent transaction outputs and has to invalidate those transaction outputs from the network whenever they are spent. And that's it, right? There's no way you can sign 2 UTXOs because if the UTXO was already spent, that UTXO doesn't exist in your wallet anymore, right? So that's the point of it. It eliminates the need for ordering transactions. It eliminates very big lookups on your wallet software to understand what is available to spend, right? And if you are able to sign a UTXO to spend it, you are absolutely the owner of the UTXO, and that money is not spent. So, in the other opposite side, it really complicates wallet software.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. Well, Raghavender, I hope you're happy with the reply. Let us know. And so for the Diop question about the Runes protocol, do you have any
Yeah.
insights about this one?
If it is a different protocol, I don't have any
Yeah. Yeah.
information
Me
because
neither.
I don't know about it, but I will check it. And um, Diop, join us in Telegram. Say hi there, and I will ping you whenever I want. I need whenever I find more information about that protocol because
Hmm.
I don't know it. If we were talking about Thorchain, which has the token Rune, that's why I thought it would be the same.
Yeah,
Thorchain
it can be. I'm not
allows,
completely sure. It's just
yeah,
that I found this one, and
Thorchain allows
makes sense that it's.
atomic swaps between chains. So um, it's a cool, interesting network for interoperability, but it's not a scalability solution for Bitcoin. It's more an interoperability protocol, right?
Mhm.
But we will talk about that in a different episode.
Yep.
So stay tuned for that if you are curious about Thorchain.
Yeah. And
Any more
yeah,
questions?
yeah, we have another one from Tanuj Namdio. Sorry, guys, for roasting your names. You can kick my ass in the video
Roast
comment.
us in
Yeah,
Telegram.
roast us. No, yeah,
We do our best.
or here in YouTube. It's also good to interact with you guys. So Tanuj Namdio was saying that after watching your podcast about job market, I finished Crypto Zombies and made two big beginner projects. I am now trying to look into open source projects right now. It's really good. You're going really well. I would appreciate any other advice. Well, as far as we can tell, you are doing great. You are on the right track. Just keep digging on the open source projects. Try to interact with the communities and try to find out who are the project leaders and try to find out how you can help. So I think you're on the right track. What do you have to say?
That's exactly the point. Make yourself available to the community. Um, give instead of taking or trying to take. Be humble. Be willing to learn. Uh, that's already uh, easy to see from what you wrote that you are willing to learn, but show that to the community. Show that you are there to learn, to um, understand more about blockchain, because usually people have their like they come from outside worlds, and in the outside world you might be very proficient or expert in certain areas and so on, but blockchain is a different beast. And usually if you are not humble and you are thinking that you already have any kind of experience that is will be very important in blockchain or something like that, you are probably wrong about that, because blockchain is a different scenario, and you will learn that, and hopefully not the hard way, which is creating stuff that is hacked or is creates problems to people that bought your token or whatever. So Um, that's why I think joining this space with a humble uh, mentality is a very important thing, and be willing to learn from people that are older than you in this space will make you a better developer. Sorry, guys. I am. My throat is very bad today. Uh, oh my god!
Okay,
I
but
saw
let me add
someone
a tip
talking
there.
about Gary Gensler in the comments, and my eyes
You start crying.
watered because of
Okay,
that.
let me add a couple of tips there. So you're saying that you started to beginner projects. That's another route that you can take. Just keep increasing your portfolio, put those in GitHub, and keep increasing your portfolio. Make those public so that other people can see. And who knows? By playing with beginner projects, who knows if a real project doesn't come out? So that's another track that you can take there.
Yeah, don't forget that possibility. Whenever you already learned a bunch on by participating in communities and projects on open source projects on GitHub and so on. Whenever you feel that you already uh, have some confidence, uh, go for it. Find a
Yep.
problem that you know the solution for and build it.
Yeah.
And don't think that you have to build very complicated shit. The beauty in this space is in simplicity.
Yep.
You don't have to build a huge protocol with this and that in mind. If you find the right problem and you have the right solution for that problem and you can build it, build it. Let the community decide if it's good enough or not. And don't overcomplicate that. Build the right shit to solve the right problem. And that's it.
Yep.
All right.
We have another comment from Raghavendra. Hey, I would like. I'm going through theory right now, so that I know everything. I have done in crypto zombies as well, and I start learning Rust. So, can you guys suggest anything which I might be missing? No, I think you keep learning. Crypto zombies is a good place to start. The Ethernaut exercises are also a good place to go. If you want to go on the Rust path, it's also a good path to go. Just like Tanuj, like we were saying before, to Tanuj, build your portfolio, make it public so that other people can see it. Make some toy projects, and go to the communities and offer yourself to help.
Yeah.
It's the same thing.
And stay tuned in DecentraWise because we will be launching some cool stuff soon. So,
Yeah, we
as
are
someone
working on some stuff. So
as someone said on our
stay
Telegram,
tuned.
there is some guy that has a crystal ball and suggested us something that we are working on. So, anyway,
Yeah, Tanuj is also suggesting so that we can make some beginner friendly episodes. So yeah, we can also work on that.
but this is beginner friendly.
Yeah, well, kind of.
We are just scratching the surface of
Yeah,
stuff. Uh, Of course, this is not for your grandma, unless she is very an OG on Bitcoin,
Yeah,
or
cryptogramma.
yeah. So, but yeah, this is just scratching the surface. We can go much deeper in technical terms. We try not to because of that. Because, but we don't also want to be a podcast for just people newbies starting out, because there's already plenty of
Yeah,
content for that. So if you find that our content is a little bit too over the top, uh, go check first other content to get the basis of blockchain development, and then come back. We
yeah,
will still be here, and
we can also do something like if there is some issue that you don't fully understand, just you ping us and we'll try to
join our
explain it.
Telegram. Ask there. We will clarify everything, or at least we do our best to uh, reply to every question. So feel free to put your questions there if you find something that is not clear enough. But yeah, I really think that we cannot go very, very uh, easy on this podcast, because this podcast is for developers.
Yeah,
So if you want very, very beginner stuff, get that from already available content on YouTube, and then get back, because um, we will be happy to receive you back with much um, harder
yeah,
concepts.
and if there are a lot of questions, we can go back a little bit and pull you guys up, so we can make a video just to pull you guys up and keep you up
Yeah.
with the questions that you have.
Okay. Any more questions?
No, Ragavenger is asking if we have any suggestions for communities for jobs. So
There are plenty of websites for that, but I don't recommend you to go that route yet, because um, probably you will have a hard time, because it's very difficult to find a job uh, when you are a beginner. People just want people already bringing added value to the teams, and there is plenty of competition as well. So even if you have already qualify, you will be one amongst many others.
yeah,
So I think you will have an easier job, uh, not trying to get interviews. Start participating, and eventually you will land a job by participating. Why not?
yeah,
Right? At least if I would run a project, and I would have a guy contributing to the project, and I would have mm, any need for a guy with those skills, I would hire you.
yeah,
Period.
yeah,
Right?
because you are already knowledgeable of the project and you are already contributing, so you are a step above all others.
Yeah. You just need to be uh, contributing, to be open, to willing to learn, to get in touch with the community, contribute to the discussions, get yourself uh, noted by giving, and not going there and ask for things.
Yeah,
And eventually, it will pay out. It will
yeah,
be easier than getting a bunch of interviews, going through a bunch of uh, hiring processes and being disappointed because you would be stopped in the middle of the way or at the end or whatever all the time. That is very stressful, and it's a lot easier for you if you get to contribute, to learn, to be a better blockchain developer or Web3 developer or whatever you want to be, and in the process eventually land the job, or if you don't, start your own project. That's what Miguel was saying, right?
Yeah.
That in that case you don't have anyone's opinion over you. You just have to do it, and eventually you can succeed, right?
Yep.
So
That's the way to go.
I really think this is the best option. Right now, the market is not hot enough or demanding enough for junior developers to be in the higher list. So,
Yeah.
sorry, man, but I don't think it's an option for you. Okay? It will eventually become an option later this year or eventually in the beginning of 35. But
Yeah.
for that, start
Yeah,
now,
you need to start
right?
like yesterday. Yeah.
Start now, start contributing, start getting involved in the community, and you will learn. You will learn and you will land that job. I'm positive about it.
Yeah.
Okay?
Okay, guys, let's wrap this up. This was a huge episode. Don't forget to like and subscribe and share our videos. Leave us a message on the comments. Do you have anything to add
No,
to this?
I think that
Okay,
this
guys,
was
we have
good.
also we also have Telegram. Ask us questions if you have any suggestions for
Go to our
subjects that you
website.
want.
We have everything there, and get in touch. Okay?
Yeah, exactly. Cheers, guys.
DecentraWise is not just a YouTube channel; it's a community.
Yeah,
So get inside, right?
exactly. Get to us, guys. Okay, cheers.
And thanks for joining us in our mission to decentralize the world wisely. And we'll see you in the next episode. Cheers.
See you in the next one.
Bye-bye.